3 months earlier. You can use painted stones as decor inside and outside, but do you have to prime them first? I'll test it both ways, put them in the garden for the summer, and then check back to see how they survive the rain and the sun. I gathered some smooth rocks outside. The smoother they are, the easier to paint on. I washed the stones with rainwater first and then let them dry, and before painting anything, I marked on the bottom of the stones with a black paint marker which ones are primed and which ones are not. I decided to try varnishing them too, so I can compare between unprimed, unvarnished and varnished, and primed, unvarnished and varnished at the end. I'm using clear gesso for priming 2 of the stones, so the color of the white gesso doesn't affect our results, but you could use white or colored gesso just as well. I let them dry for a couple of hours, and the gesso made the stones a bit shinier, but that's the only difference at this point. I decided to paint these fantasy-looking cutesy bugs this time that I can put in the garden, making them all look a bit different, combining ideas I found on Pinterest. I started by sketching on the stones with a white-colored pencil, because I thought that would show up well on these darker grey stones. And then I'm using acrylics to paint on them. I'm using some Crelando acrylic paints from Lidl and some more opaque plus color paints as well. I'm gonna run out of the pink soon and I'm so sad. I need to get some more of these less common colors once the pink one is finished. These would certainly look better if the stones were a bit more symmetric, but what can you do? The insects are just gonna be a bit wonky this time. Instead of using bristles to paint the dots, I turned the brush around and dipped the other end in the paint and used that as a dotting tool. It didn't work that well on the uneven surface though. Let's not forget the details like the antenna and the eyelashes that insects definitely have in real life. I let the acrylic paintings dry for a day and then varnished 2 of the stones with the Winsor & Newton acrylic gloss varnish. They'll be easy to spot since the unvarnished rocks look matte next to the 2 shiny ones. I let the varnish dry for a few days and then took the stones outside in the garden for the summer in a place where they get sunlight and rained on. And I'll leave them like this for a couple of months and then we'll see what happened.
Many months later.
It's been nearly 3 months and the rocks have been outside in the rain and sun for the summer, and I think it's safe to say that the paint pen markings underneath didn't survive that well in some of them. The paint on top of the rocks is still doing very well though. I didn't notice anything at first, but looking more closely and comparing to the before photos, I saw that the one that's primed but not varnished shows the most paint cracking and chipping at this point in the light yellow part. And the one that's not primed but is varnished also has some yellow paint missing. Might be something to do with the quality of the yellow paint or with how much water I was using, since it's only the yellow paint. If you dilute acrylics with too much water, they might crack eventually. But I leave these outside for the winter and update you if there's a clearer difference after that. But if you want to decorate more stones, you might get inspired by this rock painting video here. See you there!